This is being recorded on Halloween because what could be spookier and creepier than watching a woman who was convicted of second-degree murder lie to the police while trying to put on the costume of a loving partner? I wanted to be able to react to this as raw and uncut, unfiltered as possible, and this is the best version I could find. If you aren't familiar with the case, I have a full playlist you can check out, which includes this woman changing her story constantly. Finally, at the end, she tries to put on a costume of a battered spouse, but the jury and the public simply don't buy it. Let's begin.
Just let us know if at any time you need more, okay? I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move. Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure.
So remember, we are watching this after seeing the trial, so we know she came in with a list of questions, and it's wild remembering what they are, where she is wanting things like the ring.
So obviously, he received his autopsy, so I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that, and since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights? Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them to you, okay?
Sure.
All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
This is, I know we're already like a minute in, but this is such an iconic moment because she's using the word protocol, which she's used as her defense before. And they had this whole thing where they were trying to claim that the Miranda rights weren't valid, and they are. It's crazy. Like, I haven't looked back on this fully since, I would say probably before, like the whole thing before I even made my first video on Sarah Boone. Like, I'd already seen this, but I think I'd only ever seen it at that point as clips, edited clips. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I've seen it and sat down and seen the whole 2-hour thing. I might have listened to it at some point in the background.
So this morning we went to his autopsy, and we were informed of some injuries that he has by the doctor. So so he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. And it's called a contusion. Do you know what a contusion is? So, like, basically you're getting hit, and then, you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising, like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth.
Her shaking her head already, and we know that later on she admits she beat him with a baseball bat because he tried to escape a suitcase to be able to breathe.
Mouth was a little
I haven't laid a hand on him.
Okay.
Technically, I mean, it wasn't her hand, it was a baseball bat.
Also, too, he fell off my son's bike.
Okay.
So I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree. So
Okay. What about the scratches?
So, I don't know if this is the same bike, but when she says her son's bike, would that technically, is that the bike that she kept saying was actually hers that she gifted to George? Maybe she re-gifted it to her son. And I do want to mention, because I see a lot of people mentioning it in comments and things involving Sarah Boone, where she liked to catalog her injuries, her own injuries, and make claims against George. And those injuries could just be a drunk person, hurting themselves. I think I also saw a comment that said that after all of her calls and attempts George only ever got 2 misdemeanors. One was for the domestic violence, and one, I think, was for the violation of the order when he showed up, which we know she was calling him over. When there was a court order for him not to come, she was destroying his birth certificate as a way to, like, lure him in. Like,
because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay, because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
So, what is that from? Well, we know she was arrested for third-degree felony strangulation, and in other instances, George, she called the police on him, and he had cuts on his neck, right? So that could just be another instance of her previously trying to choke him. And I had to pause here mostly because I wanted to say, I am so sorry if I have to try to mute myself or I miss it. This officer coughing is just making me want to cough.
And they're all recent. Like they occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was.
In all honesty, we have not gotten into it.
Okay.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over at the house, too, so...
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there, last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week, so...
Well, we're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
How wouldn't she know when her son was there if it was scheduled visitation? Oh, yeah, we know from Brian Boone, she doesn't always actually, get her son from the way he worded it. So she might not even remember when she's with him.
We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
I'm thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play.
Mm-hmm.
And
Have a good time. It hits different at this point when you know that she was recording George and forcing him to saying things like that. It's one of her phrases of control. The victim was forced to praise her and praise the days and praise. Ugh.
Listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising.
I am remembering, I think I mentioned earlier that I wasn't sure if I'd watched this full thing. That's probably correct, because I think what I did is, this is an hour and 55 minutes. I think what I did is I listened to the interview, I listened to the whole thing, and then I watched other people reacting to clips of it. So this is actually probably going to be I think this is my first full sit down, pay attention viewing to what's actually shown. I've listened to it, I think 2 or 3 times. I would tell you what I'd do. I'd put on other work I was doing, or I'd have a video game and I'd have the volume off, and I would listen to this and other true crime stuff. That's actually what I did to pass the time before I did any Sarah Boone videos.
And on his head and skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
Trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would he get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday, when we took photographs of your overall body, and they did the buccal swabs. Did they go under your fingernails?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to let us
Absolutely.
swab underneath your fingernails?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good day. We've had good days lately, even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good.
So, at this moment, Sarah Boone did not have a job, from my understanding. George had a job that he knew was going away, and he was kind of depressed about it. And remember, Sarah Boone was using, from my understanding, George's money for like bills, so she would have more money to drink. Because Sarah Boone was getting her money from $1,000 alimony from Brian Boone, $100 a month in child support, and then on top of that, the notes displayed in court were that Sarah Boone was also asking Brian Boone for other money, for bills and things like that. So, the interesting thing to me here is she would have our exes like ex-wives. So, she's immediately putting the problem onto George. It's George's fault, right? Because it's George losing his job. Sarah doesn't need a job. It's George's fault. Her ex gives him money. His exes, maybe they want help with the kids. It's just something I didn't really think about until like looking back here, how she's already slanting at George is the problem.
Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks, give or take, yeah.
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation between the two of you? Yeah, you said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
Yeah, with a curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So...
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
The probation officer?
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition?
I've been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me.
So, another thing that I find weird here is we know that they've tried to use that curtain rod as a big defense, but the injury by Sarah Boone's own accounts was like a month prior, so we don't know if that was when it was. We don't know how bad it was. We don't know if this is maybe a new injury and she's just making this up. She's confused they didn't take the curtain rod. And I don't know why they would take the curtain rod if George is dead. But as you can see, she's immediately playing the victim. She doesn't do anything except she had to. I was going to say she had to have known they were going to get those 911 calls. They were going to get those body cams showing George injured, George not wanting to talk about his injuries. But, I mean, maybe she's so full of herself that she thought she was going to convince them so much they'd never look into it anymore.
So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So...
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like...
He gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures.
Hold up. I want to go back. I have to see. I was looking at Sarah when she mentioned the phone. I have to see this detective. I got to see if what their physical response is to the mention of the phone.
Or was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so...
Give or take.
Right. So what do you mean by he comes after you? Like...
He gets belligerently drunk. Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures and the videos that I have taken. And
Oh, she did not flinch. which is wild considering she knows what's on that phone. So if for anyone that hasn't watched, Sarah Boone, if you somehow found this video, Sarah Boone recorded herself committing the murder. She had him zipped in a suitcase and was taunting him. She also recorded videos of her coercing him to get charges dropped against her. She has on her phone where she took his birth certificate and ripped it up because he wouldn't violate a court order to come over after she got it against him, and all sorts of stuff. Her phone is what buried her.
At one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have almost I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards for them to tend to it, from him poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's...
Then why are you still with him?
Everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can help him. Like I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with. I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I had hope in him. And he was trying.
From my understanding, every time she's like, I did all this because he was charged. She was the source of all those charges. And we know from her phone she was doing at least some of them purely to be vindictive. She was doing things like telling him to come over, knowing there was a stay away order from her previous, charges filed against him, and she would then call the police and have him arrested again. Sarah right now is crying that she's done so much for him by putting him in jail so she can play savior.
He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself where...
Again, George had the job. Sarah Boone did not. She was an alcoholic and drank just as much as George.
I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that, so he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees.
I don't know the name of the manager she's referring to, but in the actual text messages on her phone, there is messages to Sarah from what I'm assuming the manager. It's someone who came over to the house. George was still drunk, it sounded like. The next morning, he didn't show up to work, and he wanted to work the afternoon, and then he didn't come in. But they asked Sarah because George had a brand new, fresh black eye. And Sarah Boone's response to that worried message was to then insult George's family.
So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time. Send me money, send me money, send me money. How can I send you money when I don't have a job? And he's still trying to take care of me and Lucas by paying a bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my or he doesn't puzzles and the paint mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk.
Okay, I gotta talk television because I didn't notice this before. Other people did. So there is a video where the police come in and they look at something. It was like it's a television stand. And Sarah Boone's like, oh no, it was broken in the move or something. Some people are taking that as saying that the television's broken at that moment. But then there's another video. It's the video, I believe, where George is calling out Sarah for cheating on him. And it's basically giving him rules to continue the relationship because he no longer trusts her to be out without him knowing where she's at. And she's trying, of course, recording it to try to play victim. In the background, you can see the television has artwork taped to it. And it does appear to be the same television that's later broken. And then people pointed out that the video that Sarah Boone is talking about involving the bat, the beginning of that video already has damage to the television. And that has led some people to speculate that this television never actually worked. And it's quite possible that even Sarah Boone took the first whack at it and was like, well, let's hit it for fun before we throw it away. And the video was George saying, record it because I want it on video that you're going to help me take it out later. And then Sarah recorded it and then tried to use it against him. I also want to point out that the video starts to me at a very weird moment where he's like perfectly positioned, and it makes me wonder if the video was cut. Because there's another video upstairs where Sarah is being belligerent to a drunk George, and eventually he calls her on it, confronts her, and she then quickly switches to this type of whiny style voice. She has multiple voices she uses. And George seems to back away, and it made me think at that time that maybe he knew she was going to edit that video to try to use against him in the future. And it just brought me back to the video of the television, and where I wonder if that was edited. I'm like saying a lot, and especially if you've not watched any Sarah Boone before, but she seemed to have all of these things ready as defenses, and I wonder how much of it was selectively edited or not what she claims it is.
Most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording like that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time. I
can't get drunk. Number one, I do not want to get drunk. I don't like being non-compos mentis, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control. Mm-hmm. So
I'm just saying, you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know, but you guys were both.
Sarah Boone is an alcoholic. Yes. There's no question about that. She was still under the effects of alcohol about 12 hours plus after putting him in the suitcase when the police finally did come. And she eventually admits that, not in this, I believe. She doesn't admit that until doctors years later, maybe.
Sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time. He's dancing with my dog. You can see that too on...
She now claims he was actually abusive to the dogs and the dogs would stay away from him. There's no evidence of that at all.
The pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing. He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
yeah,
over.
about this much.
And then that you had
So that little motion there is not accurate to her testimony in the actual courtroom. So if you didn't watch, they had 2 1.5 liter bottles of wine, Magnum bottles, the big boys, the doubles, and they had extra in the refrigerator. And when there was talk of a half bottle, she went and claimed on the stand that it was above the label, which is definitely higher than that little motion she made there. So she started claiming they drank less later on. Just like, it's just one of those things. I rewatched her testimony last night. I watched, I can't remember who I watched. I watched, I can't remember the name of the channel. Sofa Squad, if you know who I'm talking about. He has a sofa, true crime, something from his sofa. I can't remember the name, but I watched a long video of him going through her actually in court, and I was really enjoying it. And that got me into binging. I can't get. I feel like every time I watch Sarah Boone, there's something new. So I started binging some other people covering Sarah Boone's appearance actually on the stand, and the bottles, people talking about it, and that little motion she made there. I mean, you could maybe excuse it, but it's different.
I don't even know how the wine. How'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, because
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay.
So on Sunday, we know later on that she admits that they went, well, after the cameras showed it, they went to Publix together, and then he went alone later, or at least he went inside alone later. And that's another thing about Sarah Boone, is she will change her story based on what she knows. When she learns about the videos, suddenly she remembers them. When she can fit something in between the videos, suddenly she remembers that. And James Owens, her lawyer, stated that when they told her more about battered spouse, that's when she realized she was a battered spouse, which to me is almost an admission that she just fits whatever theory she thinks gets her away with it.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen.
So Sarah, again, she's not mentioning that they went out and got a bottle already. And now she's saying George was being nice. Now, later that testimony will change. She will claim that George went out to go get cigarettes using her debit card and came back with the wine, used her car without permission, and it was like a bad thing. But here he's being nice because Sarah needs her drinky.
Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, like, just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because
So we have other videos from her phone where George is just listening to regular music and she is just like angrily filming him. And then we have another clip where he's telling Sarah he doesn't want to listen to her music because her music is like sirens and things like that. He doesn't like it. It upsets him. So this music, she's talking about how like it's calming or whatever. According to George, it wasn't. It was something he didn't like. And she got angry and like demanded he go for a walk alone because she ordered it and all sorts of stuff on the same video. Which again, it's like I'm sitting here like she's telling him to look at the phone. They're gonna watch all of it. They're not just gonna look at your pictures. I think she thought she could say, look at my pictures, and they would only look at those.
I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies. We're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
on your laptop you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was...
But you said it was a good day, like you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship? You guys didn't go down, like, the rabbit hole, like, had too many to drink, and you guys start getting...
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say with just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's just, it's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through.
And we know in reality what she did is she forced him to call his brother and his daughters who don't like to talk to him when he's drunk. And then at least with the brother, she was in the background screaming, tell him about when you choked me or something like that. And she was, there were issues in their relationship brought up by Sarah because she was going at him, like yelling at him in the video she recorded while he was in the suitcase.
Because
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
daughters, yes.
Nothing relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about,
just
like,
what's going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate. Mm-hmm. Which is a huge thing in a relationship,
right.
Where he has been practicing communication, so he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you, like I have almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not a worry, just tell me, get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside, so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never
help
stopped.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's unexplainable how he got these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like a proof and just in general.
Yeah, I started documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
That was a lot. Sarah controlled George like a dog. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say there. She talks about, oh, yeah, I recorded back when he was going off the deep end, back when he got arrested. Sarah Boone appeared to be mostly recording him when she could use it to put him in jail to get him to do the final hostage video that they showed in court, which is what it looks like with a hostage video, like after torture, where George is sitting in the dark and she is going line by line the exact wording he needs to tell a judge to get the charges dropped against her for third-degree felony strangulation. And he has to call her an angel, and he has to bring up her dogs and all that stuff. And to me, Sarah Boone was getting him arrested essentially as a way to use it as a bargaining chip to force George to get her charges dropped. And that's why she was recording. And whether she was recording things that actually he had done, or whether she was trying to manufacture scenarios for future charges, I don't know. But I think that's why she did it. And then she got the charges dropped.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer. You have to go to these classes. It's court-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me. And she knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it.
Imagine being that probation officer and knowing you were tricked. You were tricked. The abuser tricked you. Imagine realizing that he was in this because in some of these instances, as George's version, there are marks on Sarah from him defending himself. She tried to choke him multiple times. She claims he choked her, but he's the one with the cuts on his neck. Multiple times. He's the one that died from suffocation. That was Sarah's thing. Imagine how that probation officer felt. Because there's no way this probation officer hasn't seen this. There's no way the probation officer hasn't seen the trial. Even if I didn't want to see it, I wouldn't have been able to help myself. I'd have to know.
And would always come home and show me his papers. And we would look over his papers together. where it's like, wow, you actually are learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Even when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors still tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee, and I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him out.
I know.
The next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car, just opened the back of my car and just started throwing all his crap in, just throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff.
We know from the text messages that Sarah Boone, after getting him arrested, would then lure him back over by destroying his property, among other things, and once he was there, call the police again. We also know that Sarah Boone would contact his family and demand that they make sure George comes see her now, and she would give deadlines, and when he didn't show up, she would destroy his property.
At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if y'all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know, too, what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's going to do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got, like, a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But every waking moment, he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? You kind of like lost me. Like what are you?
It was a little while ago. But
now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff.
Sarah Boone would withhold George's identification documents, preventing him from even being able to cash checks. She would berate him constantly. She would berate him if they weren't together. If they were together, she would go through his phone once he was arrested to then berate him, wrote an entire letter berating his whole family after going through his phone. But she'd also make sure to call his brother and, scream in the background. But it's the ex-wife.
It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this is not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What does she have to do, though, with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday?
No, I'm just saying, previously,
Okay.
why the incidents would happen is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job
Yeah.
and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
Nope, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any timelines better? What time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit, did some laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then
you just said.
So she's completely cut out earlier points where we know they were at Publix. What was it, around 1?
That it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start
Mm-hmm.
and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside so we could
About
do
what
stuff.
time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
And you said you went up to bed around
Midnight-ish.
fell asleep around 12:30ish, but those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight, so there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower, or
When we started to play hide and seek.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went inside probably about, if I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then
You're talking about from hanging out outside and
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
Right.
just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit, started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to
9 o'clock?
hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were painting. So then it's okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase.
For anyone new, yes, Sarah Boone's defense really does involve the fact that she doesn't know how to play hide and seek.
Was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
But she did. And I want to mention something. I've seen a lot of people have said this, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen the source of it. I'll look on my phone actually while this plays a little bit. Sarah saying she zipped her son into the suitcase or a suitcase at some point and some admission. Maybe I missed that somewhere. I've just seen people claim it as fact, so I'm gonna double check that now that I'm thinking about it.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well, I
mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm saying, I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so.
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them.
I'm gonna be honest, it's impossible to find anything right now because everything's the verdict, right? But I do want to mention that we don't have to believe, as the prosecutor says, we don't have to believe the story. We don't have to believe that Sarah Boone was too busy to put clothes away, with her busy life of absolutely no job while George is working. And we don't have to believe that they were working on that puzzle because that could have been done for weeks or months. Who knows? Apparently they were too lazy to go and fill up the suitcase, but you're supposed to believe that they're going to put away a puzzle when they're done instead of just like looking at it. And her story doesn't work.
So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just asking, in the past, like, have you ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but obviously no. I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter, you were laughing, yes. He was laughing, but what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something
Absolutely
that you guys normally do?
So I was just, yet again, double checking, trying to find the son in the suitcase source comment. And I found someone saying this, and I thought I would share it. More subtle evidence of her abhorrent behavior I haven't seen discussed much was brought up in the police interview tape. I don't know if that means this one or the car tape. The detective notices there was one pillow on the bed and 3 pillows pushed up against a wall in the closet. I think Sarah made George sleep in the closet. I'll have to listen for that.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we have a townhome where it's upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password?
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's a shared phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
the dogs,
and George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Let me...
What a crazy moment. What a crazy moment. Your battery's about to die. Like, imagine. Like, Sarah's saying she doesn't know these videos exist, right? So let's take her at her word for that. I think she was probably blackout drunk the whole day. Possibly. She's seeing herself and George obviously filmed last night with the suitcase. She saw that part. And she just calmly says, your battery's about to die. Let's just go back and really appreciate that. Like, imagine you're in that scenario.
Go ahead.
Sarah.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. Sarah. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shut it down.
Oh, okay.
Let me.
The battery doesn't last very long.
It used to last a lot longer than that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and.
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like.
I don't think you all understand who I am. Where.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son.
Okay.
I excel at everything.
Straight A student. As far as I'm aware, that's high school, and she's in her 40s. Excellent mother to her son, but her husband, ex-husband, former, in quotes, husband, as she likes to write. If you haven't watched the alimony video, it's crazy. He doesn't trust her, to actually pick up her son, and she excels at everything except murder. That she got a failing grade with a conviction.
I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. She does not want to see this. That facial expression. This is where listening in the background doesn't always do it for you. I've seen that clip, though. I've seen that clip.
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I've seen all of this part before.
I don't know how much I can take.
Like, watched it multiple times. People love to cover this part.
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me. Fuck you.
And
Fuck you.
that's you, your voice.
Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, dude. Sarah. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me. Sarah. Sarah.
I don't want to watch it, please. Okay.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had two fingers hanging out, And you
I
went to
flipped him
bed.
over.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's two different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions and him saying that he can't breathe and you saying fuck
So
you.
this is upside down. So in order for him to have gotten into it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video.
Imagine you're being shown a video of you killing someone and you go, this is killing me.
That occurred 11 minutes later. It's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't. How did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
What?
you were
Stop
getting
here.
ready for bed.
Stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mm-hmm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
This is not what she demonstrated in court, by the way. So in court, she claimed that she took the zipper and it wasn't zipped like this. This time she's describing it like you go around and you zip up to the edge. In court, she had it both zippers moved down like the bottom corner, if that makes sense. So like his head is up at the top and then his hand would be down here, and she claims there was an opening here. So it wasn't an opening near his mouth where he could possibly get air.
But why is he saying I can't breathe, and why is he pushing on it as if he can't get out?
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we
And also her defense changed from, oh, he stuck out 2 fingers. It changed to he stuck out his entire hand.
see and what we've heard from the other video.
I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end it sounds kind of like a...
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner...
does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers. And
He'll
it
be up
looks
here any
like-
minute.
And then 30 minutes later, he didn't show.
And he's telling you
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you
He's
think
not
he's
able to get
joking? You told me he was laughing, and
We were
the
before.
video, there's no
When we
laughing.
first got in there, both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to you
No.
recording this?
No.
The still photo of the suitcase, which appears to have no hole, is 11:03. So this will be 9 minutes later. The suitcase photo is also right around the time where neighbors claimed there was a loud banging and shaking of their walls, which could be, someone being thrown down a staircase, theoretically. And Sarah Boone's defense is, they must have got the date wrong because the day prior, George dragged me down the staircase. And except Sarah had absolutely no injuries to corroborate that. But George had injuries that would match being in a suitcase and thrown down the stairs, theoretically.
No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
But
you're the only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just like he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like, I don't...
He's never been locked in a suitcase that
No.
where he couldn't get out, so...
It's kind of... I thought it was
And
the
you know
boy
the oxygen
crying
is
wolf.
something.
Crying wolf.
Sarah might have almost slipped up there, in my opinion. Like, maybe if I don't know if maybe if the detectives hadn't, like, mentioned a suitcase, if they just let her talk. Because she talks about crying wolf, and we know from the past, she's choked George multiple times. And I feel like if Sarah was maybe given a little more rope to hang herself there, she would have said that he claims he can't breathe all the time or something like that, in connection to her choking him.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan...
But maybe not. Maybe she wouldn't have admitted that.
Nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking. He is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments. Like you're mad.
No. Please don't... I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but, like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to, like, feed me. Like...
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what...
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
Oh.
Why don't you remember making...
Now Sarah Boone claims she remembers making that video. She remembers what happened in between the two videos, remembers the second video, but doesn't remember prior to that video when she took the photo. Her final claim, her claim in between, was that George stuck 2 fingers out and said he was trying to get out and he couldn't breathe, and she got scared and she murdered him by beating him with a baseball bat and leaving him in the suitcase. Her new story is he got a full handout and started threatening her after he couldn't breathe for an extended period of time. Then she got out a baseball bat, beat him with it, and zipped it up or lifted it up so he couldn't get his hand out anymore. His hand was no longer showing. And then she recorded the second video and went upstairs. That's her new story.
Making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk?
No. Just because I went upstairs and... Just because you're drunk doesn't mean that you...
told us several times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well, we're just trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out what
We're trying
you're
to
saying.
figure out this video.
You explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was... My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to... He'll be up here any minute.
But you
again,
willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
So why didn't you take him out?
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he can't
I didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And
suitcase.
what was your plan?
Waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him? Maybe I shouldn't?
No.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just...
We're asking.
It's the whole...
You tell us.
It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't...
I do want to say, I think I've let it, some of this I just have, it's just nuts to listen to, and I'm just kind of in shock listening to it again. I know I interrupted a lot more at the beginning, but some of this I don't want to interrupt. But I do want to say, personal note, I looked for that damn Chardonnay they drank, and I couldn't find it. I wanted to find it, and I wanted to drink it for this video. So, couldn't find it.
He's
telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't
George.
do that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So I just.
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's not that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what I've done for him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several.
So the cheating aspect, two things. Number one, Sarah originally claimed that it was cheating because of porn. But then, now that we have the text messages, it does appear possible that George was messaging other women. And it seems like most likely he was. But the reason I say possibly it's cheating, I would say possibly, is because the dates seem to coincide with times that Sarah is like, I'm done with you, we're not in a relationship, and maybe George was trying to move on. My personal theory, looking at some of the dates, I looked back a little bit more, is that Sarah Boone was, kicking George out, we're done. He started looking for other women. Sarah Boone lured him back to the apartment, knowing there was a stay-away order. She got him arrested, which she admits she did. She then started going through his phone at that point, which she admits she did, and then discovered he was talking to other women. Now, I'm going to guess that there's a decent chance George had talked to multiple other women. Because I would guess that when Sarah Boone kicks him out and he's done with her, at least for then, that he's probably hitting up other women. Because he should. Because he needed to get away from her for good. And if he wanted companionship, he wasn't going to get it from Sarah. And then Sarah eventually, held that against him. But George specifically mentions that Sarah Boone was physically cheating on him with a guy, and Sarah loves to respond when she doesn't believe that she's being talked about accurately. She did not question him in that video. She did not deny it.
Times told him just fuck you.
Well, you said it in the video, but you won't let us play the rest of it because you don't want to.
When I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I think so too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating, though. So that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe. And you told him,
I don't know what you... This is...
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Done what?
Zipped somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think... So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume? Or trying to, like...
The video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
No.
It does not... It is not leading up... It is not matching what statement you gave us in the car. So, and that's why we want to know...
And I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you've told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
You don't think that I have thought about that?
Thought about the video, or thought about...
But no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video...
Yeah,
I mean...
But I'm not going to say...
You thought he could get out on his...
Yes.
But the video shows that he cannot get out on his own.
But when I unzipped it with one finger.
From the outside.
But it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
Is what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said I thought it had a paper clip on it. It's got...
But the zipper part is broken.
Yes, which is why we were going to zip it.
Yeah.
I just...
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's...
So, Sarah is saying she was able to unzip it with one finger. And her original story was George got 2 fingers out. Couldn't open it the rest of the way. The other story is he got a hand out, couldn't open it the rest of the way. There's a possibility he never had anything out because it was fully zipped. But let's say he did get digits or a hand out, and then he couldn't open it the rest of the way. How drunk, incapacitated, or injured was George already at this point? Because we don't have to believe Sarah's version. She could have beat him before he went into the suitcase.
That's the way they're designed.
But you could on the inside, too. I don't know how...
Well, why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know. I don't know if he saw, where the hole was. I don't know.
I didn't see a hole.
No
I
one
didn't
sees
see
a
no
hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying. He's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers.
Yeah.
And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers. And we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not, again, oh good, I got him in there, now I'm just going to go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been drinking
and then watches
probably
that
went
video?
to sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before. I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
No, before you went upstairs. You consciously had to walk upstairs. You obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you specifically told me that you went upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past. I am sick.
Sarah Boone has choked him in the past. She put her hands on him in the past. She, according to Brian Boone, would get drunk and her claws would come out. She hasn't murdered in the past that we know of. But abuse like this, yeah, that's common for Sarah Boone.
Especially with that. I thought I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. You tell us last night, you vividly remember this when you told us last night, that he was laughing, you were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has 2 fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different, and it actually shows you upset and, again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So
what
but my thing
you
is
say
that
we're assuming, we're not assuming,
but
we're
the
telling
fingers,
you what's on there.
so it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was, just happened to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also, in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you can see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that hole that
He
you're
eventually
talking
would have
about.
been able to get out.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Based off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But
So, I should have brought it in as an aid. I did this at one point. I have a suitcase that is, I didn't measure it. I think it's about the same size. And it's old. Not old like, the zippers are broken off. But I think it's old. And I think the age of the suitcase could factor in with how difficult or easy it is to open it one way or the other. And I went and I took the part where it zips on the outside. And I used that as a pull, so I could yank on it. I tried having the suitcase zipped all the way, pulled on it, didn't move the zipper, right? Didn't open it at all. Had I'd say about 2-3 inches maybe of opening. Tried that, and it, as I pulled up, it actually slowly unzipped the suitcase. And then I tried with a real small hole, maybe about an inch, about 2 fingers out, tried it, and it didn't. Again, not the same model, not the same suitcase, not the same wear and tear. But I would think there's a chance is what I'm trying to say. If there was a hole, him shoving up to get, like, you know, or like out, or however he was pushing, that would have possibly put a little strain on the actual zipper and like and inched it along. But remember, by Sarah Boone's story, when he started to get out, she beat him with a bat. So
the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then, you know...
I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay, well...
The only thing she's so dead set certain on, when she didn't even know she filmed the videos, right? As more information appears, Sarah Boone changes her story.
I did not zip it up all the way. This is horrific, okay? Horrific.
Yes.
It is terrible.
Yeah, so
Horrific. I don't think I'll ever be right because of this. Ever be right. Dealing with everything else that I have in my life, personally. And then this,
Okay.
whom I loved, it was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't intentionally
left
go to
him.
bed because I'm thinking, okay, good, he can get out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
And what do you
it goes
normally do
off
when you
whatever
go to
you're
bed?
going to do.
What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
But
bed to
obviously
do
you
what?
can tell too that, like, I've
You
been
go to
drinking
bed
also.
to do what? Okay. You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this. I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes,
Okay.
you can tell that I had been drinking, but
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
if I hadn't been drinking, you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm going to go to sleep. Is that what you all are trying to do? To portray me
We're not trying
as?
to do anything. I'm simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I wouldn't call
Everything
it fine and dandy.
was fine and dandy.
Explain
You
to me how.
also, okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now.
Mhm.
I'm so happy they do this. Sarah is getting on her podium and bully pulpit, and is telling her story, her new story. While she's the real victim in all this. Everyone, you know, she's got a hard life. She's gonna have to deal with this, and she's got a lot going on right now. I mean, like, listen, she's got no job, but she doesn't need because her husband pays for things. But now she's not gonna have George's income. You know, she's not going to have his money coming in. And I'm sure that's really weighing down on her more than anything right now, in my opinion, is that she realized she's not going to get that money.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you because this was not in any way, shape, or form.
She's just tuning out the video already. She's just tuning it out. Could you do that? Could you do that? If there was a video, you were blackout drunk, and it was you killing someone, just tune it out to tell a story.
And on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just left
I
him there to
didn't
teach
kill
him.
him.
You left him there to teach him a
That's on
lesson?
you.
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out no harm. Because you
And
don't.
then he doesn't.
But
The argument used in the court is that Sarah Boone exerted a force on him by zipping him up. She then did not ever unexert that force, even when he was tapping out, when he wanted to stop. It would be like choking someone, putting someone in a headlock, them tapping out, and you continuing until they die. or Darth Vader killing someone, as the prosecution actually used in their final statement, which was actually pretty effective. Highly recommend you watch that. Actually watch that court part. It worked. It put across the idea. I mean, it did. I kind of laughed at it at the time. I laughed at it after, and the more I think about it, I'm like, can I laugh at it when it does its job, when it gets the conviction? I don't think I can.
But you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes, and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even moved,
And dozed off.
you admit to moving the suitcase, like, over. So
You roll it.
You roll it out, like, it's not like...
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't...
You didn't want him to be upside down? How do you even get upside down?
Right. You guys are killing me right now.
I just want you to hear...
So Sarah Boone said she doesn't know how he ended up upside down. Her final version was she was trying to get his hand inside by, like, lifting up the suitcase and, like, shaking it back and forth. And when she let go, it accidentally fell upside down.
That's how he talks to me most of the time. I don't know how you want me to say it.
I'm just trying to figure out what you would expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a suitcase.
I didn't mean to leave him in there.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for not calling 911 sooner?
Because I didn't know what to do and how horrific it was. I called Brian, and, like, what, 5 minutes later I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. Nonetheless, that I had to, like, I was trying to do CPR.
She called Brian, who told her to call 911. He had to get up, had to put away a puppy that they had now. He had to put on clothes because he was working from home. Sarah called him again. He then drove there. She might have called him one more time. I don't remember. But he got there, and it was like 10, 11 minutes later. And then he told her to call 911. Again, and then she called. It took 3 times Sarah Boone being told to call 911. When her former husband, as she calls him, wouldn't walk through the door any farther and just said, call 911, then she called 911.
I was trying to do CPR. I had to get him out and try to do CPR, and then called you guys. And then was continually doing CPR with the dispatch on.
Now, she says she did CPR beforehand. According to Brian Boone, she was, like, inviting him in for a drink or something like that. Like asked if he wanted a drink or if he would come in while she was going to get a drink, something to drink. Which a lot of people assume that her Dr. Pepper was spiked. That's probably how Sarah Boone starts her day. But she wasn't doing chest compressions when Brian Boone got there. And then on the 911 call, I have covered it, and it doesn't sound to me like she's doing chest compressions while she's talking to the operator. It's not like she's pretending.
On the phone, where he had me count out loud to help me focus on what I was doing.
She actually didn't want to count out loud and got angry she had to do it, and it didn't sound like she was exerting force while doing it.
It just... I don't know how... I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, I thought he was going to get himself out, but that's... He didn't, and you went upstairs, and you stayed there for 30 minutes before you fell asleep.
But can I say, too, like...
You chose not to ever, at any point during that 30 minutes, walk back down and check on him.
No, wait 1 second. Because I know, like, with you all, and then, like, because you continually ask me, like, time frames, where I told you, like, I don't bother even looking at the clock most of the time.
So she didn't bother to walk back down. This is something that never got solved in the trial. There were 2 versions of events. One of them was Sarah Boone went upstairs and called Brian and woke up with the cell phone upstairs to Brian having messaged her all morning. The other version of events Sarah told involved her waking up because Brian kept calling her but she didn't answer because the phone was downstairs. Now, if I were to take both of these and try to combine them, did Sarah Boone go upstairs, call Brian, or whatever she said she did, then eventually later in the night go back downstairs, leaving her phone there, find him dead, and then possibly just go back to bed? Because somehow the phone was upstairs and downstairs simultaneously in the morning while Brian Boone was calling her, and it can't be both. So where's the truth?
So it's like a guesstimate. So for all I know, maybe it was 10 minutes.
Okay. But the point is, you left the living room where he was begging for help and went upstairs. Regardless of how long you were there, you left. You say,
I thought he was the boy calling wolf. Again.
Okay.
So when he asked to be let out, like, what's your reasoning for not letting him out?
When I was upstairs?
No, when he's asking on the video.
I don't think Sarah Boone ever describes why he was the boy crying wolf, or what he was crying wolf about in particular. I don't think she ever says that. So I really think it might have been her choking, him saying he can't breathe, and like that one time he kicked her in the eye after he threw her off of her and she was trying to get back on, according to George's story. And I wonder if that's how she justified calling the police. Like, he could definitely breathe.
He asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
Well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. I'll give you 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes for what?
Well, based off the video, one video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23, so you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times, I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I
don't
Were you
know.
punishing him?
No. Just...
Well, that's what you're saying in the video.
This is what you got. This is what you make me feel like.
See, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the severity of this.
He's dead.
It's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful. And I will tell you both this right now, too. I will never drink alcohol again.
Okay.
Like, I will never drink alcohol again. I don't care what it is in any way, shape, or form.
But let's get back to this. What was the reason for leaving him when he's begging to be let out? I don't understand that.
What I have a feeling was, and again, it's the whole time frame thing. You all keep asking.
I'm not asking a time frame. I don't care about a time frame. He's in the bag saying, I can't breathe.
My God.
And you say, fuck you.
For the whole few minutes that he was in there,
Minimum 11, but yes, go ahead. It's a few. 11. Minimum.
For the one video.
At least 20, by the way. They don't mention it here. The photo of him in the suitcase was 9 minutes prior to that 11-minute time frame. Few minutes, though. Sarah's trying to downplay it.
Well, in between the two videos.
Between the two
minutes.
videos? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the question again?
When he's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe, let me out, and you say, fuck you, why don't you just let him out? What are you trying to prove to him?
Her new story in defense was that she was so afraid to let him out because she knew what he would do, and it would put her in fear of her life or greater bodily harm.
There was obviously something in your head that you were thinking of when he was asking to be let out, and you're like,
Again, it's the boy calling wolf.
Okay, but where does this game end? You say this is a game, you got somebody in there.
Obviously, the wrong way.
So what was your intention for leaving him in there?
And it's not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what you did!
No.
That's absolutely what happened.
Intentionally.
How's it not? You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't, and you still didn't go down and check
And it's
on
the
him.
whole 30-minute thing that you guys are trying
I
to
don't
do,
care about 30
whatever.
minutes.
It's like, for all I know, it's 10 minutes.
He's begging for his life. He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't. I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But you
Then what
can't
did you
tell us
intend?
why you left him in there and went upstairs. That's my only issue. Like, what am I supposed to write? What do I write?
So my thing is, though, it's, what I have a feeling is I went upstairs and just hit the bed kind of thing. But, again, I'm thinking, he'll be up here in a minute.
But she also called Brian Boone. She called Brian Boone, and she was drunk and babbling, and he didn't listen to her.
But then I go out.
But my question is why.
Later, she claimed she told him, in court, she claimed she told Brian Boone that he was downstairs in the suitcase. But that was never mentioned again, and the defense did not call Brian Boone. And I think that's because she realized that doesn't help her case, and that would mean that she was upstairs in the bed admitting to knowing he's still down there. It was in her head, and she still left him down there. She knew it was such a problem that she called someone and he was still down there. Most likely, Sarah Boone did not call Brian Boone about that. She probably called him complaining about wanting money or something like that we see in her notes in her phone.
Why didn't you just let him out prior to going up?
I don't know why.
He's begging to be let out. He's not laughing. He's not having fun.
Guys, I know. I don't
this
know.
was supposed to be fun. You were laughing before. Before you said he was laughing, you were laughing, you went upstairs, he had his fingers out of the bag and he was playing. Well, obviously that's not the case.
So are you guys, so what is it you're trying to, like...
We're just trying to figure out why.
Why? What?
Why?
What was the motivation for leaving him in the bag?
Why he was left in the bag? Why the video?
I didn't have any motivation. It was...
So, the why matters and mattered in court. And the reason the why matters is because her leaving him in the suitcase, I'm really cutting it back, but her leaving him in the suitcase is manslaughter. Her leaving him in the suitcase out of spite or hatred or anger, that becomes a depraved heart, which means that this is now second-degree murder. And a lot of people argue that if this information had gotten if it was known ahead of time about her planning in the past, her statements, the way she had gone after him before and all this, it's very possible the state would have went for first-degree murder instead of second-degree, and they might have gotten it. But the detectives at this point already knew that she was going to be placed under arrest as soon as she showed up. They got her, right? This is about getting her to possibly confess and getting it on the record for that second-degree murder charge, which did stick.
Was he and I having a great day, fooling around and being stupid, and apparently me going upstairs and hitting the bed, not going to sleep, where it's like, I'm tired now, I'm going to go to sleep.
That's excluding, it's a good analogy for the day, excluding the fact that he's got a bump on the back of his head, a bump on the front of his head, and his lip is busted, and he has a bump on his eye.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you. This is not fair at all.
Yes.
That you all are assuming that that's from me.
Where else did it come
If
from?
you were, say it's opposite, you were in the suitcase and you're asking to be let out, would you hope that that person would let you out? You're asking to be let out of a suitcase, should they not let you out?
Eventually. I'm guessing. I'm blaming it on the wine.
Eventually, I'm guessing. She's like, no, you would want out immediately. Everyone knows that. And then she realizes how bad of a response that was. I'm blaming it on the wine.
Blaming it on the wine.
We are 58 minutes into this hour and 55-minute video, and it has been an hour and 40 minutes. I apologize for anyone who thinks I might have stopped it too much, but that's what I'm here to do the commentary, right? If you want to just watch the video, it's out there.
So you guys are assuming that...
You keep saying we're assuming, or we're not, we haven't assumed anything.
But you guys are assuming that that's what I did.
No, by what,
Like, this is-
the facts of what happened. We got there, you said you pulled him out of a suitcase, you said you went up, you went to bed. We're not assuming that. These are the facts that you're telling us.
But
Now
what
we're
you said
asking
is
you
like,
to
oh, I'm
explain them.
tired. Oh, I'm tired.
Well, that's what you told me on a sworn recorded statement yesterday. Because when I said, oh, you went upstairs and passed out, you were like, no, I did not pass out. You got attitude with me because you were you
Yep.
thought I was assuming that you were drunk. So that's an assumption. That was an assumption when I said
Yeah.
you passed out. And guess what? You corrected me.
You were very adamant about the fact that both of you had your wits about you. What's your favorite word to use?
Compass mentis.
You've used it today, too, to say that you guys were within your wits. There's two empty bottles of wine.
No, but I drank both of them.
I think you did.
This straight A student's realizing she has screwed herself because her statements are what's being used against her. Her video, I think at this point, if you look on her face, she's realizing, what did I do to myself? There's a chance she could have, if Sarah was smarter, contacted a lawyer, concocted a story, she might have gotten away with a lesser charge somehow. But Sarah is not someone who could do that because her ego, her narcissistic traits, as both sides called it in court, does not allow her to ever be wrong, does not allow her to not feel like she's superior, does not allow her to realize that not everyone just takes her word as gospel. And they know when she's lying.
I didn't.
There's receipts for the
They were
statement
both
back there.
purchased yesterday, so I don't know how you didn't, because they weren't there the day before.
The one was.
Two Publix receipts.
And this is where they catch her, because she did not say she went with George to buy the first bottle of wine. So either she's going to have to say she was already drunk and doesn't remember, and she was already drinking and they were drunk driving by 1 p.m., or was she lying? My assumption is she probably was so blackout drunk from yesterday she doesn't remember. I would assume she was probably still drunk from the night before, because it seems like Sarah is constantly drunk.
From yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing purchased on either one was a single bottle of wine, 2 of them. So we have each bottle of wine that was empty in your garbage can that you purchased yesterday, or he purchased, but you two would have consumed together.
Okay, well, I
mean, there's receipts, so it's not even worth the going back.
So this is,
There's no defense. There's receipts.
so I don't know what you guys are, I don't know.
We were just hoping that we could figure out why you...
What was the motivation?
There was no motivation.
Well,
But we're watching a video that, after talking to you, everything was laughing and fun. Now we're watching a video where it's not laughing and fun. He's begging for his life, and you are in a very angry voice telling him to fuck off.
No.
Yes,
It's not.
that's absolutely what it was. It's not an assumption. The video is there. We played it for you.
So you guys think that I intentionally,
You did. You
it
got up
doesn't matter
off the
what
couch
it doesn't
and
matter
walked
what
up
we
the couch,
think.
or walked up the stairs and got into bed. That was intentional. There's no way getting around that. You intentionally did that. Nobody drug you up there. You didn't float up damn stairs.
okay, well, it's not fair. It's not fair that you guys keep trying to say that that's what I did.
I don't know what to tell you.
You told us that. You didn't go upstairs?
Again, there was a hole in a suitcase. I unzipped it from the hole with one finger.
Well, the damn hole didn't do him no good, did it?
But he could push it open.
No, he
Did he?
couldn't. The video
No.
shows him pushing up.
And
If he could push it open, why wouldn't he have gotten out himself? Why would he beg you to open it?
I tell
Okay.
you he can't breathe.
Okay.
If
I-
someone
I-
can do something for themselves, they're going to do it. They don't need assistance unless they need assistance.
So, but why would he start doing it?
Because he couldn't, because it was all the way zipped.
Okay.
Didn't see it.
It wasn't. I intentionally didn't do it. That I intentionally did not do.
So now, Sarah, you can see that she's realized her argument about saying she left it open It's not flying. It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't he open it by himself? She had asked that, and they said because he couldn't. So now she didn't intentionally leave it zipped all the way.
What's that? You didn't intentionally do what?
Zip it all the way. He nor I.
Well, he's dead as a result
Lay
of your
hands
action.
on each other.
He is dead as a result of
I
your
understand
action.
that.
So,
That's why
You two didn't lay hands on each other.
No. No. I don't have anything.
You're right.
He doesn't. Whatever that is, whatever it
He
is.
does.
You're right. Sarah doesn't have anything, but she claims the day before his killing, he grabbed her by the head and dragged her down the steps to try to excuse away two separate neighbors talking about the loud banging and crash. Not just they heard, one person was on FaceTime with their girlfriend who heard it. The wall shook. Sarah has no injuries, though.
See, this is what happens. It's not fair that you guys, just because he has those, automatically blame it on me. Like,
well,
Where
what
else
about
are we
when
gonna go?
you had your injuries and he gets arrested? Is that not fair?
really? Like,
It's
really?
the exact
Yes.
same thing.
Really?
He has injuries. You have injuries. Like, what does that mean?
I don't have any injuries.
Correct.
Because
Sarah is not used to being charged when George has injuries. That only happened the one time because he mentioned her choking him. After that, she appears to have conditioned George to not say anything even when she gets him arrested. But he had injuries. So that's why she's so taken aback. What do you mean that she can be at fault for his injuries? She's gotten away with it for an extended period of time.
he and I have not been at it with one another.
So every time that you guys fight, you both hit each other? So you should have probably
No.
gone to jail all those times that he went to
No.
jail for domestic?
Well, the one time I did. But he completely trashed the police report. Because that's nothing what happened. Because the reason why I got taken in was because my story was different than his.
He completely trashed the police report. Yeah, he got the charges dropped because Sarah coached him and it's on that phone.
So I'm being portrayed as like this abuser.
We're
Yeah.
not saying that he doesn't abuse you.
Absolutely.
We're not saying.
So I'm the one that's being portrayed as the abuser.
Because
I have never dealt with anything like this before. I don't know what to do, how to do it, and I always know what to do and how to do it.
There's that
This,
ego.
I don't know. So I don't know, like, what's going on or, like...
We are simply trying to find out as well. Again, we got one side of the story. You're telling us, we're going with what you're saying, but then we find stuff that negates what you're telling us.
And I don't even remember doing that.
Okay. You're telling us that we're assuming stuff, but what we're simply doing is telling you what we saw in the video and
I
repeating what
understand.
you told us.
I understand. Because I don't remember that.
Okay? Doesn't mean it didn't happen just because you don't remember it.
So is the texting thing something about me? Like, what's...
The what? Texting? Oh, no, I'm texting.
No,
She literally is wondering if they're texting about her when they use their phones. Like, I don't know. We're an hour in. They're police officers. They might be getting asked, like, do you need anything? Coworkers. I don't know protocol, right? Protocol. They had an issue with the battery, right? Once. So there might be coworkers, whoever they got the battery from, hey, is it working? Do you need anything else? They could be getting updates. Maybe they found something new on the phone. Maybe there's something in the autopsy, something that, maybe, I don't know, like, what it could be. It could be a variety of things. This wasn't, I'm sure, probably their only case as well. But to Sarah, it's about her, and she's really upset about that.
You guys are scaring me, so, like, I don't know, like, what to expect. I mean, I had questions of things that need to be taken care of. Like, I don't...
What are your questions?
I have one last question.
I love the female detective's response here. I got questions that need to be taken care of. Just her reaction.
You guys are scaring me, so, like, I don't know, like, what to expect. I mean, I had questions of things that need to be taken care of. Like, I don't...
What are your questions?
I have one last question. You realize you're the person that killed him, right?
I thought about that.
Okay, you left him in a bag when he's begging you, saying, I can't breathe, let me out, and you said, fuck you. And you got up off the couch and went upstairs and left him in that bag.
Not intentionally.
Again,
I would never do that to George.
you did.
Not
It happened.
intentionally. Know that.
I don't.
Know that.
You got up and you went up to bed.
Alcohol is a shitty thing. It's alcohol.
So
Not,
alcohol
again,
is the reason that you killed him?
you all,
Please sit down.
listen to me.
Please sit down.
You all, listen. I did not intentionally kill him.
So your intention.
I don't know what it is I
to
need to
punish
do
him?
or how to do it or what to say or how to say it.
But what was your intention?
Everyone knows. Everyone knows everything that I've done for George and love him and continuously helped him throughout his life with me.
Because Sarah, I'm sure, is constantly praising herself.
And made him a happier, better person.
And everybody has their limits.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody has their limits.
So it's like, okay, so while we're in a good place right now, I'm going to snap? Is that what it, while we're in a good place right now?
You did.
Yes. Absolutely. I got you on video screaming, fuck you.
Sarah doesn't know how to handle when people have videos of her.
This is what it feels like when you're choking me. This is what it feels like
Which
when
was
you're
however long
choking
ago.
me. You said
The
it.
videos was from last night.
Clearly,
So it wasn't
still
that,
inside you.
yeah.
there's still feelings towards it. You wouldn't say it if you didn't feel it.
But I would never do that.
But it happened, and you did.
But you
But
did.
that's after being playful
But no one's
and
laughing.
having a good day.
No one's laughing except you.
Everybody's
I would hate to see
having
a
a good
bad
day. Oh, I'm sorry?
I would hate to see a bad day.
Y'all are making me out to be a person that I'm not. Or will I ever be.
Or are you a different person when you're drunk?
People have different personalities after they consume alcohol.
It depends. Well,
Because you're sober now, so sober you.
Nice
Well, what about
person,
drunk you?
easygoing.
not, it's both of us. It's both of us. And it's not fair that you all are assuming that the marks that he has on him are from me.
We asked you where they came from.
I have no idea.
Well, nobody else was there, so nobody else was
I have no idea. I swear I did not lay a hand on him,
Okay. You just zipped them in the bag.
nor he.
You just zipped them in the bag. And then you flipped the bag around several times.
I didn't do that intentionally.
You didn't intentionally flip the bag around?
No, why would I do that?
Well, you
Good
told us
question,
you
you
did it.
did.
When he was upside down.
Right.
Well, you had to put them upside down.
You can't get in a suitcase upside down
Yeah.
because the
Oh my
What,
gosh.
you put the
See,
stuff in
that's the
where his
unfortunate,
body was?
That's the unfortunate
Was
thing
upside
too, is
down.
nobody else was there.
So as you can see, Sarah Boone is panicking, realizing, wait, my story doesn't work.
That's the
We have a
unfortunate
video
thing.
showing the suitcase in several different positions. So it shows, one, like she just said, it had to have been on its back with the lid open for him to get in there, for you to zip it up. Then it shows it on the other side with him in it, so you had to flip it to there. Then there's another video where it's on its back again, so you had to flip it to
I'm
there.
leaving it like this, please. I'm leaving it like this. I did not intentionally do this. No malicious content or effort was towards this. No malicious.
I would
I'm
say
disappointed.
I think at this point, Sarah literally thinks that she can say this. The interview is over, and now she can move on. She's so used to ordering George around, ordering people in her life around, ordering her former husband around, that to her she probably thinks that I'll just do the same with these detectives. It's over, because she still thinks she's walking out of here at this point. She still thinks she walks out.
Or effort was towards this. No malicious.
I would
I'm
say
disappointed
this
in the
does
video.
help you sleep, but you're not sleeping, so.
I mean,
Last night, I
The-
maybe got an hour.
Right.
in your voice you can hear the maliciousness. The fuck you is very, very,
You don't talk to people like that. That's not like a common like,
Nope.
hey Scott, fuck you.
Thank you.
That's not common. It's not something people do.
And this is, again, this is important. This is the difference between second degree and manslaughter. And if I'm remembering right, manslaughter caps at like 13 or so years. Second degree begins at 22.5. Her plea deal, I believe, was the max of manslaughter, and she didn't take it.
And no one that sees that is going to think that.
Okay.
So we were trying to give you an opportunity, and it is what it is.
There's no maliciousness towards that.
So I would probably be telling myself that too after that video.
My intent was not for that to happen.
But you went upstairs and went to bed. Or maybe you passed out, I don't know.
Waiting for him. And the whole time frame thing, it's like,
Regardless.
That's not really fair.
See, this going upstairs and waiting for him makes more sense when she's not mentioning the fact she beat him with a bat and was fearful for her life. As soon as you add in that new part of the story that she added in later, which she has to somehow combine with this old story, it no longer makes any sense. This man is trying to breathe. That makes me fear for my life. I'm going to beat him with a baseball bat, and then I'm going to leave him for dead downstairs. But, oh, I thought he could get out and then come up and murder me later. Like, that is combined. It makes less sense, but she's so set in this story. I don't think when they made a new one, there's anything else they could have said.
Waiting for him. It's not like you walked up the stairs. You can't fly up the stairs. No one can take you up the stairs.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, you lay in the bed, and you wait for him. Who cares if it's 5 minutes? Who cares if it's 30 freaking seconds? He's begging for his life. He's begging to get out. You go upstairs.
You leave him.
It doesn't matter. So get the time frame out of your mind. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there's this. So it doesn't matter anything what it is I say. So it makes no difference whatsoever.
It's just you're lying and like you're now changing your story.
Lying about what?
You're now you're drunk.
Oh, I never said that I was drunk.
Exactly, but you did here today. That's okay.
You said earlier.
Everything recorded.
Alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol.
You blamed it on the alcohol. Alcohol does a lot to people.
Yes, but I never said I was drunk.
Okay.
You did.
So you did this sober. You knowingly left him down there.
That moment when Sarah's like, oh, wait. Did I just say that I murdered a man sober?
Sober.
I have already told both of you also that we were both drinking.
Right.
Okay.
But you want to admit that you were drunk?
I'm telling you all both. This has changed my life. I will take this. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a true statement.
Absolutely. But you're trying to dance around the fact that you
but what
did
are you? Okay, just.
You left them in there. Trying to dance around the fact you left them in there.
This is not.
You didn't leave them in there?
It's not cool. Like, this is not cool.
It's not cool. He's dead. It's
but
not
you
cool.
think that I did that intentionally. You think that I did that intentionally.
You intentionally left him in there and left the room. You went upstairs to a different room.
You intentionally did that.
You did.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking he's going to get out.
Okay, and he didn't.
Obviously not.
When somebody's begging, saying, I
But
can't
when you
breathe.
say that, though, but you have to,
Please let me out. I can't
y'all
breathe.
don't know George, though. Like, that
I just, like, had this, like, thought. It's like, I'm picturing, like, a Jigsaw-style trap, someone begging to get out. You know, it's something like, you're like, well, I thought they succeed, so you can't fault me for that, right? Like, maybe I put them in a life-threatening scenario against their will, but, I mean, if I thought they could succeed and I gave them a shot at it, I'm not at fault, right? Like, ugh.
Again, I thought it was the boy crying wolf. So it's just like, what?
Oh, so if your son was in there and said, I can't breathe, are you going to open it, or is he 9, so he's not, you know?
Really?
It's not a big deal.
Really?
I'm just valid question.
Well, you said you would never put your son in a suitcase. You would only put George in there.
No, George got in a suitcase.
And you zipped it up.
Not all the way and not intentionally to leave him there.
But that's what happened. But you keep going away from it.
I don't know.
That's exactly what happened. You went up to bed, woke up the next day.
Are you all trying to have me admit that? Like, are you trying to have me admit that? Because I will never admit it because it's not true. It's not true.
But you keep going away from it.
I don't know.
That's exactly what happened. You went up to bed, woke up the next day.
Are you all trying to have me admit that? Like, are you trying to have me admit that? Because I will never admit it because it's not true. It's not true.
I'm basically stating as a fact because that's what happened.
Okay.
You videotaped him asking to be let out. You go upstairs.
So what, guys? So what? Like, just, I don't know what you want me to say other than it was not out of maliciousness or intentional. I don't know what or how I can say it.
Imagine if she hadn't filmed it herself. She filmed it because she wanted to watch it, just like she wanted to watch all those other times of George squirming and her making him do things. She did that, and she wanted to watch this back later.
I love George. Love him. To this day, still. Love him.
Love makes you do crazy things.
It's not one of those things where it's like, oh gosh, you know what, I've done enough for you at this point. I never gave up on him.
Okay.
Why I'm here today, I'm still not giving up on him. I would do anything for him.
Well, you gave up checking up on him.
She came here today because so here's where things get interesting, right? She's like, I'm here today because I never gave up on him. Later, she tells everyone she only came here because she wanted her cell phone back. But then she also brought a list of questions. So it's admitting she knew she was going to be, questioned at some point, or at least she was going to get to make some. And her questions were not about George. They weren't about helping George or anything. They were, when can I get this? When can I do that? Can I have the engagement ring? That type of stuff, which we'll get to. But oh, sorry, I hit the mic. But yeah, I don't get the argument. You're not here for George.
Wouldn't let him out of a suitcase.
For George's stuff.
Gosh. Okay.
We're simply just trying to go through. I mean, again, you gave us a completely different story that you churched up to. This was such a laughing matter.
It was fun.
Not by that
all
video.
Day.
Not by that video. That part wasn't. Anybody looking at it doesn't. I don't think anybody would look at that video and go, George is having fun right now.
So why is it you all think that y'all don't know me, you don't know me,
Nope.
would do something like that, especially having a 9-year-old son?
I don't know
Like
what
why?
having a 9-year-old son would be.
Like
Why are you so? Why?
I like that. What does having a 9-year-old son have to do with it? Yeah, she literally is now, she's using her son as a defense, right? As a mother, I hate anytime anyone uses that for practically any reason, by the way. At any point, someone's like, well, as a mother, I know. Look, there are a lot of bad moms out there. That's why CPS exists. Now, there's a chance that you do have an opinion because you're a good mother or something like that. But just being a mother does not absolve you of anything, doesn't mean you have some magical insight. There are a lot of bad mothers. Right now, in the recommended for this is killer mother breaks down before admitting she murdered. And I'm assuming it's the baby because there's a photo of it in the thumbnail. That's what made me think of this. I don't like people using as a father, as a mother, as a defense, especially in a case like something like this, because it's absolutely disgusting that she's using her child as a defense. But Sarah Boone, as far as I can tell, was not a good mother. She was someone that was not reliable. She was someone that couldn't provide for her own son beyond what her former husband, as she called him, would provide. She was not giving him a safe, stable home. She was a drunk. So her using him is disgusting. It's disgusting. And I see it all the time because I follow a lot of different cases and stuff involving, I've mentioned it before, January 6 cases, and the children are always used as a shield, if they can be. And I also hate that because they're like, well, I gotta think about putting me in jail for, like, there might be someone who assaulted officers with a metal pole, and they'll be like, please just give me house arrest because think of my child. But they weren't thinking of that child when they did the crime. Was she thinking of her son when she left George in this suitcase? Was she thinking about her son when she didn't call 911 immediately? Like, Sarah did this, and it affects her son. What was Sarah thinking about while in jail? How much her son needs to do her bidding. Sarah Boone was in jail in her alimony stuff, complaining that her former husband is buying a bidet and video games and things her son might use because Sarah wanted money. Sarah made her son the enemy while in jail. If you haven't watched it, it's in the playlist. She doesn't get to use any defense of, she gave birth. Right? That doesn't give you any sort of special power. You'll notice a soapbox here, also where I had a soapbox when it came to Owens, when Owens was trying to tell the jury, no matter what, you don't hit a woman. No matter what. And I personally think that mindset is part of what caused George's shame, why George did not seek help, why George did not tell the police about all of his injuries, why it was so shameful for him to admit that maybe he hit Sarah in self-defense. And that mindset used by Owens could have led to George's death. But I'll get off my pulpit.
Nope. Would do something like that, especially having a 9-year-old son.
I don't know.
Like, why?
9-year-old son would be.
Like,
Why are you so like caught on what we think?
Yeah.
When
because
you should be more concerned about what you've told us.
It's because like you guys are like trying
the things that the video shows that are opposite of what you told us, and then what you've now
like
told
what
us
is opposite?
Well, you said that it was funny, and you're the only one laughing.
We were playing before that.
Okay.
But then it stops.
Yeah.
It obviously stops being fun.
Well,
because you're screaming at him, he's begging to get out.
Screaming at him.
Sounds like screaming at me.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you. In no way, shape, or form was this intentional. At all. Ever.
Okay. Are you still going to allow us to do your fingernails?
Go for it.
Go for it? Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get that set up.
Sarah's...
Need any more water? No, but when you come back, can I ask about this?
Yeah.
Sarah still thinks she walks out.
So what?
Just don't understand.
So it
I don't
wasn't...
understand how your story changes so much to the
How
fact
is it changing? Please help me explain, understand.
You went on about how this was such a playful thing and you guys were laughing, and it probably was for a few minutes, but then it obviously changes. The whole demeanor of this whole situation completely changes. It's not the funny, laughing matter. He's not laughing at all.
I didn't think he was being serious.
You know what? If Sarah Boone had been found not guilty and let out, and she was able to have visitation, forced visitation with her son, and they were alone, I could see her killing him. With all the anger she showed in the alimony documents, with the fact that her life is over whether she was found guilty or not, right? She was forever going to be the suitcase murderer in the minds of the public, and people would have followed her to the ends of the earth to make sure everyone always knew. And she viewed what her son was saying as a betrayal. There's a chance that her guilty verdict saved her son's life.
He's not laughing at all.
I didn't think he was being serious.
You absolutely sound serious.
I
when you're
didn't think
answering
so.
them.
Like, just...
You don't think your voice, you sounded serious?
It's, okay. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It was a great day.
Okay.
It didn't end well, obviously.
I was going to say, that's, I mean...
I can't explain to you. I can't explain to you.
And the fact she had the narcissistic traits, to me, also kind of pushes that. I'm obviously not an expert on psychology, but I've seen plenty of things where they talked about narcissists who committed murder, and sometimes it would come when they lose their job or lose even just favorability with like the public or friends. The truth would come out that to them it was equal to death, and they would take people down with them. And I don't put that past Sarah, right? I don't.
I mean...
I can't explain to you. I can't explain to you how horrific it was to find him. Horrific. Because I don't remember taking those videos.
Okay.
How horrific. I'm thinking he's in the bathroom. I'm thinking he's downstairs in the laptop. I can't find him. So what's going to happen? Like,
here's what gets me, though, is you don't remember taking videos, you don't know where he is, you don't remember him being in the suitcase, and you're still telling me that you had your wits about you. How does somebody have their wits about them when...
See, that's the thing, too. But you can clearly tell that I had been drinking some. You can clearly tell.
I had several people that came up to me in that apartment complex said that you were drunk on a daily basis. And you were screaming at him regularly.
Right.
Really?
Right. Talk to the property manager. Talk to the property manager.
Okay.
Because it's not...
These are your neighbors, the one that live next to you. Your property manager does not live next to you.
The property manager, Sarah Boone, took George off the lease and was constantly... she would like message the property manager, like, see, I got him arrested, so it's not a problem. She was very obviously telling a tale to the property manager by her own messages, and I think that's why they showed them during the court appearances, some of them. I think that and they also showed an arrest video with George, and I think it was the property manager came out. Sarah was lying to the property manager to not get evicted, right?
They see you every day. How many? You had two neighbors you went to and asked to go use the restroom.
See, that is just not fair.
No, hold on. You had two different neighbors that lived directly next to you. You asked to use the restroom, and they told you no and turned you away. You had to go across the way to somebody else.
No, okay. Kim and Kim is not a nice person.
Okay.
She's just automatically not nice. Even after me and Lucas went over there and introduced ourselves, she's just not a nice person.
Then why would you think she would let you use a restroom?
Because Eli was in there. Eli comes over and talks to us sometimes, which I think pisses Kim off because he comes over and talks to us. The two of them, they're like super standoffish all the time. My neighbors down the street, down the way, their toilet was broken. They had stuff in the bathroom. So then they're like, go over there and try over there.
There's two bathrooms.
I wouldn't let somebody go upstairs and use my personal bathroom. That's what the downstairs one is for.
If it's somebody you like, would you? Or somebody you knew?
They're in the process of doing all this stuff in the kitchen, and there's stuff in the bathroom, and the toilet doesn't work. Just walk across the way. No problem. And of course they let me in. Them and them, they're together. They're families. And nonetheless, if you really want to know, and I hope it doesn't get them in trouble, but he is over here illegally. So he's trying to work on getting his green card.
What does that got to do with you using the restroom?
Yeah, this got her. So obviously, the defense got this part cut out. If you've watched the trial, they got this cut out because this paints Sarah in a bad light. Why the hell are you bringing up his legal status? And it makes Sarah possibly be painted as a racist, and George was also Hispanic. But Sarah might have thought that getting that out meant that her possible racism wouldn't be brought up at trial. But then at trial, they brought up her racism, where she told, as an insult, told George to stay Hispanic, that's what you all are. So her racism did still come in.
They didn't want to be involved.
Should I use yours? You gotta use yours.
No, I was asking last night, because, we had several different people in the neighborhood come up saying
Eli
that
and
she
Kim.
was drunk on a regular basis.
Eli and Kim. Okay. Did you ask Vinny next door?
Those are the ones next door that she asked to use the restroom, and they said no.
No, she said no.
Okay.
And like I said, she's not a nice person.
They're coming. What are your questions?
She said no. So it's her fault. And she condemns the man to possibly being kicked out of the country as retribution to her, even though that man by her own definition was nice to her. Okay, Sarah, that's I see why you don't want anyone to know you were doing that. It kind of gives an idea about you.
I can help you with.
Who's coming?
To do the fingernails.
Yeah, you said that we could.
And you don't have to allow us to do it, just so you know. So don't think that it's...
I don't have a problem.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So, am I getting my phone back?
No.
Not today.
What about Lucas's laptop?
No.
Not today.
Not today.
What does that mean?
We're still going through everything.
Oh, that's fine.
You're the one just telling us there's videos that we need to see on it, so we need to do our due diligence that we go through everything.
See, and that backfires on me now, too, because now you all think that I had even more, in quotes, intent to do what I did to him, which was not intentional.
What's that?
In that. Is that correct?
She's asking about your tag in your hand.
No, but I'm asking if that's correct.
No, I'm not going to
I'm not
agree to
making
anything that
assumptions.
you're saying. I'm not, that you're... No.
So, his probation officer, do you all inform her, or do I need to call her?
We don't have to inform her, so if you would like to call her, you can. Are you saying because he's still on probation?
No, but because of the nice lady that she is and all that she's done for him, I didn't know how it was.
Legally, we just have to tell his parents, and we don't go telling.
Everybody else?
I didn't even know who his probation officer was, so no, I wouldn't go tell.
So the same thing for classes. I need to do that too.
Classes? You need to do what?
Substance abuse class and his battery intervention.
I mean, he's
Yeah,
dead.
Something else I was just getting ready to ask. So, other than this, so initially, what was the cause of death?
She is still pending because she wants to hold the body for an additional day to see if more of those bruises turn into something bigger. And she's doing some other tests that she's got to do. So she's pending it for now.
So, and that couldn't have been because of him being in the suitcase? Or y'all are saying that I physically did it?
That's what she's determining.
So...
The ones on the head, I asked her, could that have been from the suitcase, and she said she didn't think so.
I didn't touch him, nor did he touch me.
Okay.
I'm leaving it at that.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you all know how to do this, because so that's what I was going to get ready to ask you. So, are you all updating his parents today, or when you get final whatevers?
What does it matter? Why? What we tell his parents? What do you mean?
Because
we're gonna talk with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have to.
But it's going to come down to me.
What do you mean?
Like, so it's being put on me.
Who said that?
But I'm not. So what is it you would tell them?
We're gonna give them an update, just like we gave you an update on their autopsy.
Okay, so it's whatever bruise, scratch, and
Here's the thing.
whatever on the head.
We had to deliver news to them last night that their son was dead. There's not a whole lot of conversation that goes on after that.
Basically, in my opinion, Sarah, I think is fishing, because she still thinks she's going home. Are you going to tell them about the bruises that don't match being in the suitcase? And when she's like, it's on me, I think she's thinking, am I going to have to concoct a story to tell them? And it's going to have to somehow match what I said here.
It's not a very easy thing
Was
to
it
do.
yesterday or Sunday? Sunday. Today's Tuesday, right?
Did we not meet you yesterday? We met you yesterday.
Sarah Boone doesn't even know what day it is. She herself does not know what day it is. But remember, she's the one that is saying that her neighbors got the dates wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Right? Did we not meet yesterday?
It's a valid question.
Really? Yes, on Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Perfect.
So I don't know if I ask you guys or how I find this out other than talking to his parents, which is not going to happen.
Yeah, probably a terrible idea.
How do you guys suggest me finding out about funeral?
Yeah.
That's not even something that's been probably talked about between the family. That's not something we ask. We have no way of...
I didn't know, that's why I'm asking.
It'll be up to them to make the arrangements of what they want to do. Like she just told you this quick, just being told last night, I'll pretty much be willing to wager that they have not even considered what they're going to do.
His body can't even be released,
No.
so...
I've been there with parents, grandparents, aunt and uncles. So I don't know if I have the right to or not, but like I was going to call his former employees whom he really cared for and let them know.
You can call whoever you want.
I just don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to.
Sarah Boone, even in death, tries to control George. She wants to get her narrative out. I don't know.
How do I go about getting his wedding ring, engagement ring?
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then
It'll be released to the next of kin.
Yeah, okay.
I bought it for him.
Okay.
That is a civil issue.
Sarah Boone does not know how gifting works. I mentioned it previously. If you haven't been following the case, she gifted him a bike and then tried to claim that he stole it by using it or something. Because she got it's technically mine. He hid it. It's a gift to him, but it's mine. And literally a 911 operator had to explain how gifting works. Everything belongs to Sarah at all times, except everyone else's money, like her former husband. That belongs to Sarah. And also, according to her alimony statements, so does his parents' money, because she complains that they have too much money to not give her money while she's in jail. Ugh, she's vile.
It was on his finger. It goes to them. They're the ones that are going to release it. We don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back.
I feel... I think I've put forward what I think about Sarah, but my mind immediately went to, I'm surprised she didn't pilfer it off the body.
So for all of this, how do I find out what's what and how many, what's been found?
What do you mean?
Pillow with stain, swabs of stain from pillow, suitcase.
That will all be sent off to
FDLE,
Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They do their testing.
So, and then whatever white can with blood and necktie with blood was from the suitcase.
Correct.
Why would you guys, you'll see it in there, the baseball bat for Lucas. And the receipts. And this is...
Oh, the baseball bat's for Lucas. And beating George.
Just his phone, my phone, and then the laptop.
Yeah, when anything can be released, we will release it, but we are very early in this investigation, and it's not an overnight process, unfortunately.
So, what's next?
They're going to come and swab your fingers.
No, I'm talking about, in the long run. What do I need to, do I need to be doing something, or,
I can't tell you, what to do.
I mean, for... I don't understand, I don't know if you guys are just going to, because it makes it sound to me, I'm being accused of something that was not intentional. I'm being accused of it.
Mm-hmm.
and a handful of other things that I'm being accused of.
Okay.
So I don't want to be at home with Lucas and you guys show up.
Okay.
I understand that.
So
We're still investigating. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
So is there going to be concrete whatever it is, and then it's like, okay, this is what it is kind of thing, or like, because I've done the whole court thing, I've done the whole attorney thing, I've done whatever. So if I'm not admitting anything about being intentional and I killed George,
Okay.
that's not the situation, but it's trying to be pinned on me.
Okay.
That was not my intent. But it's trying to be pinned on me. So however or whatever it is I need to do in order for that to be proven, then I need to do so, which is why I'm trying to get my ducks in a row.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking what the next step is other than me getting my nails swabbed.
I mean, you want me to tell you how to not be accused of a crime?
Please tell me how to get away with this murder. Please. You're catching all my lies, and that's all I have.
Is that what you're asking? Like, I don't know what you...
I'm trying to prepare myself for whatever may need to be done so I can, I guess, stick up for myself.
I mean, I think you're doing just fine. You came, you talked.
I just don't want you guys to, again, show up and Lucas is in the house.
Well, we did tell you yesterday that we don't want to do anything around your son, hence why you came to us. So I don't know why you think that's going to change.
That and or me not just show up back home.
Now, Sarah Boone later tries to claim that there was a call with this officer and tricked her about a pregnancy to get Sarah to come in. You'll notice none of that is brought up in this.
I'm sorry, what? That or what?
Me just not show up back home. That's what, he's so happy that I'm staying over at the house with Brian. Like, so happy. And I'm not going back to the house.
Brian is so happy that she's there. Doubt. I think, personally, that Sarah had it in her head, okay, George is dead. I've been leeching off of Brian for a while. Maybe I can use this moment to get back with Brian. He's got rich parents. Maybe they'll fall into a suitcase on accident with me one day, and then Brian will have the money, and if we get married again, I can get another separation with more alimony.
House to my house for however long I can stay over here because of whatever to blow over.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you don't mind me asking, so for whatever it is you all are claiming from the videos, which, yeah, is that what you're going to tell them? Like, his parents? It's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, she did.
Did what?
I mean, what would you tell them?
I don't think it really matters what we're going to tell the parents.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's fuel to the fire.
Well, we can't hide things, and I don't know. I'm not saying we're going to go. I'm not saying that we're going to go and tell them every single thing we have. But again, this is the Orange County Sheriff's Office, that's public record, so eventually, like, this all will come out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not...
Matter of time.
I don't think Sarah was aware at this point that this would come out. Just like, I don't think at the very, very beginning she was aware her letters would come out. But later, she complained she wanted all of her letters and stuff to be, like, sealed because it was making her look bad to the public. So eventually, she was addressing them to the public when she found out she couldn't get rid of them. But I really think she thought she was going home. This will never be seen again, and she's safe.
Come out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not...
Matter of time.
You're making it sound like we're going to tell them something, so then your life is in danger, and I don't like that accusation.
No.
So, let's just nip that in the butt right now.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
I cannot...
But
I
we
did not
What are we going to
choose.
tell them?
But we can't even, so technically there's no concrete report yet, even.
Right. So
it's,
you want me to like
I'm
tell you
telling you
exactly what I'm going to tell them? I don't know what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. Let's just leave it at that. Just like you don't know why you went upstairs. I don't know what I'm going to tell them.
So,
Parents that are dealing with,
can I call you the way that I did last time?
Yeah, my phone is an open line.
Can I call you the way that I did last time? So there was a disagreement, a little disagreement, where the I believe the investigator didn't remember Sarah Boone calling, and then later she called. She admits she called, but didn't remember what they talked about. And that's where Sarah Boone was trying to insert a story about a pregnancy and all this stuff. And like pregnancy is why Sarah Boone came. But again, you're not hearing that talked about. It's more like Sarah Boone has questions and wanted to come in. She came in with a list of questions today, so I think that that's what she wanted. She wanted to say, "Hey, can I come in and talk for questions?" And they're like, "That's great. We're going to arrest her anyway. Sure, come in with your questions. We'll talk." And they knew what they were doing when she came in.
Missy should be there. I don't know what's taking so long.
What's coming out for looking for?
I get it. Look, I get it. That looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what scares me. Like, what do I need to plan on? Like, what do I need to plan on? I promise you, on my son's life, it was not intentional. I promise you, on Lucas's life, it was not intentional.
I don't know you. I can't say I know anything about you. I don't know what would be a true statement, what would not. I mean, you're promising on your son's life, that's fine.
That's how much it means.
Sorry.
That's how much it, look, that's how much it means.
Okay.
I hope you take that to heart. Please.
And it's documented that you said that, yeah. I get it.
Do you have any idea when I can get my phone back?
No telling.
What do you say?
I just said no telling. I mean, our digital forensics unit is got a lot of cases on their plate. I mean.
Well, and that's not
This
technically
is
my
mine.
laptop, it's Lucas's laptop.
Okay.
But he plays, you'll see all the games that he has on there.
As soon as we can get that back to Lucas, we will. As soon as we can release your phone, we will. But we have no way of being able to tell you because we don't have control over their caseload and how they arrange what they do. So I don't know. And at this point, I think, honestly, with everything else that's going on, that should probably be at the bottom of your list of worries.
I'm trying to make Lucas happy so he can have his laptop back.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
Brian not have a laptop for him?
He has his laptop that he has to do for work, that he doesn't want him using it or breaking or dropping. It's not a big deal. There's nothing on the laptop anyway.
She really wanted that laptop back. I can't remember if there was any evidence particularly mentioned on that laptop. I mean, there probably was, but I don't know if it was used.
So you will keep me posted, like updated.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing, is I'm trying to figure out what I need to do in the meantime.
I don't know. I can't.
They don't want to tell her she's going to jail, right?
Like, I don't know what to tell you, though. Like, what?
But you all have more information than I do, where it's, yeah, you might want to, or yeah, you might want to.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, we have more information on what?
Like,
We told you everything that we have. You know everything that we know. And most of it we got from you.
but that, like I was telling her, like, yeah, that's bad. Like, which I swore in my son's life was unintentional. So that's why I'm trying to figure out what I need to do for myself
Okay.
going forward with this, nonetheless, with his family. And are you all just showing up with Lucas in the house?
Well, I think we've already both told you that we would be mindful of any situations.
So you guys, I guess you're going to call me tomorrow? Or do we need to come back down here?
I'll chat with you next time. I have no idea when I'm going to call you next.
Isn't the report coming out tomorrow?
No.
What report?
I'm just saying a report is generated through us, and the sheriff's office is a public entity. So if someone were to come request something, then...
No, I'm talking about his autopsy.
She's waiting and doing our follow-up, but...
She's looking at him again tomorrow.
Yeah.
But she won't be finished with him because she's pending for other stuff.
So after this, what? I'm done? For now? How long does this stuff take to get back?
The
Most
FDA
of that
results?
you won't get back. The swabs and stuff will stay.
But I'll know about it?
Sorry. Our dispatch center keeps calling my phone. I keep having to have other people call them to see.
Funny enough, I was just checking to make sure there wasn't any like breaking Sarah Boone news on anywhere. Wow, we're waiting at this point. They're waiting for her fingerprint swabs. Fingerprint swabs, her finger swab. I really do wonder if this was like planned or if the woman was just late.
What they need.
You have some like awkward silence here or not?
I hope you all can really both truly understand that that was not my intent. I miss him a lot.
I mean,
No more.
but my question has remained the same. What do you expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a position like that?
Yes, but you have to understand too.
No, just what would you expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a position?
I had no idea because I've never done it before.
Why have you never done it before?
Why would I?
Exactly.
Why would I
did
do
you?
it before?
Why did you do it now?
I clearly have said why. Why?
No, you don't know
Never-
why. You
never-
just know that it's not intentional,
Yeah.
but you don't know why. But that's okay.
Really?
I'm not trying to force you to say something that you don't know.
It's feeding and penning.
What a moment, right?
The fact that you guys would assume that I'm that kind of person.
We're not assuming anything. We're going by the facts. It happened.
Like you said, you don't know me. What time is it, please?
She can't handle the silence. It's killing her. I thought about trying to remove the buzzing, but it would possibly distort the voices. I'm not going to do it.
In itself, for me to have to live with getting him out and doing what I did is punishment enough.
All of that silence, and it's punishment enough that she had to get him out of that suitcase and do the CPR and live with what she did, you know. I wish I had a camera on the jury's faces when they first heard her say that.
I think that's why I haven't slept. Because that's all I see.
Playing victim.
So that right there says something. Not my intention.
This is my first barely touched her.
Well, that would be very random.
I was like, I
funny.
literally heard the beep and I was like, that would be weird.
Not her intention.
Nonetheless, I have to live without him now.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yep.
Trying to play victim.
Punishment in itself.
Oh, I'll go back.
Nonetheless.
Yep.
Punishment in itself.
Yeah.
Punishment in itself.
Definitely a tragic situation.
I am through with alcohol. And it's unfortunate that stupid things like this happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Blame the alcohol.
Nonetheless, I have to live without him now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. His daughters too.
Are you trying to make it worse?
Sorry, what?
Are you trying to make it worse?
She tried so hard after he says his daughters too to hold in the real Sarah Boone, and it can't. It comes out.
Make what worse?
How I feel?
Just making a comment. I mean,
CSI, that was there yesterday. I think she took your photos.
I wonder if there's a specific reason the door's open. It looked like for a moment she might have glanced down the hallway. Maybe they were like waiting to have some backup ready in case Sarah gets violent because they're going to arrest her soon.
So I'm just going to take a swab and go around on one hand and then do a separate one for your other hand. Okay? Right hand.
I could speed through it, but I'm not. Let's just... Nothing comes of this, by the way. There's nothing under her fingernails because she used a bat. Although that does bring into question, how did he get a scratch on the back of his neck? But she could have technically cleaned under her nails at some point. Probably an expert at that, considering she like choked him and left marks on his neck. Probably has to clean those out pretty often. Very in detail. You know, Sarah's mind has got to be racing. She couldn't handle the silence earlier. Sarah has to just be sitting there, just losing it, because she still thinks she's going home at this point. But she couldn't handle the silence earlier, and she accidentally had an outburst, couldn't pretend anymore. I'm mixing my content for a moment, but probably won't make a video on it. Maybe I will. I don't know yet. I haven't watched it. I just got messaged by people that they allowed JD Vance on Joe Rogan. I don't know anyone on either side of the political aisle that seems to think allowing JD Vance to speak in an unscripted manner has ever helped the campaign. Apparently, he tried to talk about women celebrating abortions, and Joe Rogan was like, that's not a thing. And he tried to like go anti-vax, which I don't know. Ooh. Well, I'll look into that, I guess, later tonight if I find time. It reminds me of Sarah in a way of like, it's like, you could have just not spoken. You didn't have to do this. It blew me away. I had to mention, my phone started blowing up with people messaging me about it. That's what I was sitting there waiting for this to end. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here waiting for like Sarah to like have her bad day get worse while someone else's day is getting worse.
We were talking a little bit. Thank you. Okay, I'm done with all these. Okay, Sarah. So, you're not free to go. Okay. Oh, do you promise everything you told us was the truth? Or no? Everything we've talked about today?
Yes. What do you mean?
He asked to swear. Remember how I swore you yesterday on...
I would love, I mean, it's just funny. I would love if there was like a podcast that like, you couldn't get in like legal trouble for it, right? It would just be kind of funny where like, if you know the person that your guest lies, you like, you know, you're not free to go, and you know, anything you say, like, you know how we throw you in, you know, like make a joke of it like that. I don't think there'd be a legal, like, as long as you let him leave. I think it'd be a funny little joke for when you have a guest that's lying.
On the audio recording, I just forgot, so he raised his hand to remind me to tell you.
Okay.
Do you promise and swear that everything we talked about today has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
For which
True
everything?
and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
What, that it wasn't intentional?
Everything you've said
you told
today, everything that's come out of your mouth has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
To the best of my knowledge.
Correct. Yes.
Why?
Because
That's how
anytime
you
we talk
swear.
to somebody, we want to assure that everything that we talked about is...
True and accurate to the best of that person's knowledge.
It's not a trick question.
To the best of my knowledge?
To the best of your knowledge.
Everything that you've told us today is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, but it was not intentional.
So we are at an hour and 49 minutes and 8 seconds, and Sarah Boone has to say, after all of that talking, she wants to specifically say it was true that it wasn't intentional. Not everything. She doesn't say everything, just that, yes, it wasn't intentional. Yikes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, do me a favor, stand up. I need you to turn around, face the wall, put your hands behind your back. Do you have anything in your pockets that I should know about?
No.
Okay.
Why is this happening?
Because George is dead.
Not intentionally.
We understand that.
He's still dead.
Well, we don't
Someone
really
needs to
understand
call
that.
Brian, please.
Okay.
Or can I not make a phone call?
You'll be able to
Someone needs to call Brian.
make a phone call when we get you down to the jail.
So
You'll
why
be
is this
afforded-
happening? So this was a trick.
No, it's not
No,
a trick.
not
How's
a
this a
trick.
trick?
So,
I'm in here to ask you to explain a few things to us, and
You were read your rights.
your response to everything was basically, I didn't do it.
intentionally.
I have to go through that.
Doesn't matter. He's still dead. Do me a favor. Have a seat.
Really, guys?
Really.
So if I didn't show up. Why is
You're
this
trying-
happening?
Because
Before y'all said I could leave.
when
That I was done after this, after that.
we were done, yes, we were done. Absolutely.
So now, so that's what it is,
We are done.
right? Not intentional.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do now?
You will,
Someone needs to call Brian.
okay.
Lucas is waiting for Mom to come home. This was not my intention. I thought I was waiting for you all to come and figure out what's what and how many.
That's what we're trying to do.
And I was going to be able to go home and see Lucas. Now he's just not going to have me come home.
Using her son as a defense.
So there's nothing that I can do.
All right, no.
There's nothing that I can do in order to go home and see Lucas and prepare.
Not right now, no. You'll be afforded a time in court. You'll be afforded an attorney. You'll be afforded a chance.
For 8 attorneys by the state, and then a 4-attorney team afterwards when you finally put out your circus-style ad.
To talk to a judge, and all that stuff will be worked out.
But what's the time frame for that, though?
I have no way of being able to
4.5
tell you.
years
You should
for your
make first appearance
delays.
probably by tomorrow morning, if not tonight, depending how
4.5 years for the trial is the time frame for that.
things are busy, how quickly you get down there. I
I had a
don't work
sneaky
in
suspicion
there.
this was going to happen. And I need water, like, really bad, please.
Have a seat.
You all checked me down here.
Absolutely did not.
I just got those.
Okay. They are not allowed in the jail.
So I can't even smoke cigarettes as I go.
Mad she can't have cigarettes.
What? Am I good on that? She is fucked up.
And what am I supposed to do with my car?
You'll be fine where it is. When you get down there, you'll have 3 phones. You'll be able to call.
What, as soon as possible?
Yeah, once you get down in there, get booked in, you'll be able to use a phone in the waiting
But how
area.
long will that take? Because I need to talk to Brian.
Yeah, no, it depends how busy, how quickly
She complains about her car in the alimony stuff. I believe she said that Brian wanted to sell it and eventually put it in a pay lot.
they get you through. I probably would say within the hour. It's a free phone
Yes?
call
Yeah.
in the lobby. It's a free
All
phone
I'm
call.
doing is bringing you there, sign
Yep.
a piece of paper, and you're going to
She has no clue.
So can I ask you, or whoever it is, those holding cells, the holding cells, am I going to be put in one of those?
I don't know.
Last time I had a panic attack.
She already needs special treatment.
Let them know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you're familiar with the big bay. As long as you go in and you act civil to them, they'll set you in the big bay. And you'll be left there for
Can
a
you
while.
request that while I'm there?
No, that's not up to us. We don't work at the jail.
As long as like you're saying, if you don't
If
act
you go
up,
in and act like this, you'll go in and they'll put you in the big bay. If you go in there screaming and kicking and yelling and
Why would
cursing
I
at
do
people,
that?
I don't know.
So if she was put in a holding cell before, how did she act?
I'm just letting you know that's what happens. That's how they weed people out. If you go in acting like this,
So I asked for the big bay?
they'll put you there as long as you're acting like this.
Yeah, because the last time I had a major panic attack on those little things.
Hey,
let them know.
change the cuffs. Call it a day.
Was she having a panic attack, or was she being combative and they put her in and she continued to be combative and then used a panic attack defense?
stand up.
I have not.
So what am I going to do with my purse? Oh, sorry.
Your purse is going to come, but the cigarettes and stuff can't, so.
I put the lock up too, my bad.
Oh, no, it's all good. Mine are now opposite, so.
What made you all decide to do this?
Made us decide to do this?
Uh-huh.
George is dead.
You guys, I knew this was going to happen.
You did? Okay.
So I came
Well,
down
we
here
gave-
willingly.
Yes, absolutely. We were trying to figure out what's going on. We're still trying to figure out what's going on.
Unintentionally.
Well, intentional or not, George is dead. You act like when you say unintentionally, that absolves you from everything.
I don't know if it's able to be or not.
Oil, then. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I have things in my car that I need to.
Okay.
Put your purse like that.
What kind of stuff do you have in your car that you're worried about?
Well, I have my medication.
Okay, they have a pharmacy there, so if there's something that you have to have right away, you'll be seeing a nurse.
It's panic attack stuff.
Well, again, when you get checked in, you're going to be seeing a nurse, and that they have a pharmacy there, so they'll be able to take care of any kind of that stuff. That protocol is out of my realm. I don't work down there, so I don't know, but I do know
Finally, an officer says protocol.
they do have a pharmacy, and that you will be afforded to see somebody. Okay?
All done?
Yes, ma'am. Let's say no. My bad.
No.
Try to find a good image here while we talk. So, like, yeah, I don't think I've ever sat down and just fully watched all of the video. I've definitely listened to the audio all the way through multiple times and seen the important clips, but just, you can tell the real Sarah leaks. Of course, I also watched, I guess I watched it during the trial, but I can't say I watched all of it because they cut two parts out. They cut out, I believe, right near the end, some of the things the detective and Sarah were saying back and forth, and they cut out about the toilets. I think that this didn't help Sarah, for sure. Definitely was, it's a little something to look back on this and just see how different her story is, how periodically you get the real Sarah. You get the Sarah from the videos when she was abusing George. You get that. Just peeking out. If you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know if Law and Crime will claim the video because technically the video is public domain, but they did edit between multiple cameras. But I am, of course, adding commentary throughout the whole thing. I mean, geez, it's been 3 hours for a less than 2 hour video. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do there. It's not really about the money for this video at all. Well, none of it really is. It was about the completeness of it, and I'm going to watch it anyway, right? Like, I wanted to do it, and if I was going to sit and do it, I thought, well, I almost did it last night in bed, and I'm just like, I should do a video. I should watch it because that's just, I should, because I haven't done it on the channel. Just like I hadn't done the any of the body cams or anything like that. Is there anything else, Sarah Boone, to cover? Yes and no. I mean, I could listen to the 911 calls from the trial that were revealed. I at this time, I'm not going to say I'm never going to listen to them, but at this time, I don't feel a need to. This might be the last Sarah Boone until we get closer to sentencing, or motions get filed, or Sarah writes a letter, something like that. I still need to check up on some other cases and stuff that I might want to do videos on, try to like gather information. The Delphi case is interesting, and apparently it's really hard to get information. So what I might, because like they're all on cameras and all that. So maybe at some point when I have time, I'll sit there and like try to make myself kind of like a timeline of what's happened when things came out, and then maybe do a video with that, especially if that interests people, because I kind of want to look into that case more. On a personal note, today is the 31st. A video game from my childhood, the creator of that has coming out with a new MMO, Brighter Shores, on the 6th. So it's going to be, again, it's the day after the election, which I cover some election stuff. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but there's also a lot of legal stuff tied into that too. Just saw while I was getting other stuff, by the way, a J6 defendant is trying to delay their trial until 2025. And I can't blame them part way, because their argument is that they believe that if Donald Trump loses, he is going to claim he won and there was fraud, and they do not believe it is fair for them to have to go through an active J6 trial with a jury while the media is going to be reporting on possible election fraud claims, and people are going to be making comparisons to January 6th, and that's probably not a fair time for a trial. And I actually agree with them there. I don't think they can it's one thing where it's like, let's say you can find a jury that doesn't have like an opinion one way or another on like if everyone should go to jail for J6 or like whatever. But when you're talking about like actively every source of media, they're not going to sequester the jury, right? And if every single source of media is talking about a possible no J6 scenario and the dangers that could cause, and is Trump lying, and is there actually election fraud, like, no, you do not want to go have someone actively going through a J6 trial. I might cover that. I think that makes sense. So there's a lot of stuff like that with the election. So after the election, I'm going to have Brighter Shores. Probably not putting any videos of that on this channel. I have a separate gaming channel I put stuff on. I might do some stuff there. Might take a few days off in general post-election, depending. Things get too crazy, right? I might be making some videos. And then after Brighter Shores, there's a Mario and Luigi game I want to play, so I might still take a longer break and buy that. Maybe do some gaming videos there, put some effort into videos there. And then near the end of the month, the day before Thanksgiving, the game that first guy made, that his original game, they're having a special event, and I'm going to play that at the end of the month. So there might, just forewarning, there might be a small lack of videos after the 6th immediately, and there might be a small lack of videos at the end of the month, just for anyone that, keeps up, just because I do need a break sometime, and I can't stay away from Sarah Boone stuff, because it's just like, I feel like every time it's like, I notice something small, or it's just like thinking back, and it's just like, oh. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to have the sentencing in December. And then after that, I mean, her appeal could take years. So that would be the end of Boone, I'd imagine. Until Netflix makes their documentary series, I'm going to have to watch whatever makes that and how they try to dramatize it. I still haven't watched any of the videos with George's family, like their interviews afterwards. I saw some clips. I don't really think I want to do videos on that. I think you're better off watching his family say their words, if that makes sense. So I don't really want to do that. But yeah, we're getting into some time here where I know everyone doesn't like the politics stuff, but that's the original, like, not the original use of this channel. It was gaming. That's the thing I cover a lot of, and we're getting into crunch time, so just know if you see a bunch of those videos and you're not interested, that, hey, it's almost over. And then there's other stuff that I cover too. Like this, I covered convoy stuff, movements, groups, stuff like that. There's a bunch of niche stuff that I cover that is, you might be interested in beyond this. But I do like covering the true crime stuff, because I'm going to be honest, it's a lot more relaxing than the U.S. election. Let's be real. The U.S. election is stressful and gets people angry and is divisive, and this isn't that. And with that, I'm gonna end here. I've rambled too much at the end. It's long enough. I'll get this uploaded. Everything I need to do. I'm going to try to get this up on Halloween if I can. But it's all going to depend on what time I have. I might not have enough time today. We'll see.